No one remembers the exact day, but many remember the moment. It happened in the late afternoon when the heat of the day finally began to soften. The streets were busy, as they usually were, but something unusual drew people together. A small crowd had formed, and at the center of it stood a man named Eliam. Eliam was tired, not just in his body but in his soul. He had spent years carrying the weight of his past. Every mistake he had made followed him like a shadow. The town knew his story, or at least the version they chose to remember. They remembered his failures, his poor decisions, the moments when he fell short. What they didn't remember was how hard he had tried to fix things, or how often he wished he could start over. When they brought Eliam to Jesus, the crowd came with mixed intentions. Some wanted judgment, some wanted proof. Others were simply curious, hoping to witness something dramatic. Jesus stood there quietly. He didn't interrupt. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't look annoyed or disappointed. Instead, he looked at Eliam in a way that made the noise around them fade away. It wasn't a look of approval or excuse. It was a look of understanding. Eliam felt it immediately. He struggled to speak, his voice low and unsteady. "I know what people say about me," he said. "I know what I've done. I'm not asking anyone to pretend it didn't happen. I just need to know, is there still a place for someone like me?" The crowd grew silent. Jesus stepped closer, closing the distance between. "You're measuring your life by your worst moments," Jesus said, "but that's not how I see you." Those words landed deeper than Eliam expected. "You think your failures define you," Jesus continued, "but they don't. They reveal where you've been, not where you're going." Some people shifted uncomfortably. They wanted clear rules and firm boundaries. Grace made them nervous. Someone spoke up from the crowd, "But he made serious mistakes." Jesus nodded. "Yes," he said. "And yet, he's still here, still breathing, still searching for something better. That tells me there's more ahead of him." Jesus looked directly at Eliam. "Do you want to change?" he asked. Eliam didn't hesitate. "Yes," he said. "I do, I just don't know where to begin." Jesus smiled softly. Wanting to change is the beginning. There was no dramatic scene, no sudden applause, no instant transformation. Jesus didn't erase Eliam's past or remove every consequence of his choices. Instead, he gave him something stronger, direction. "Go," Jesus said, "live differently. Not to prove yourself to people, but because you've been seen, forgiven, and given another chance." Eliam walked away slowly. Some expected him to look different immediately, as if everything should change in a single moment. But real change doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it starts quietly, deep inside, where no one else can see it. That night, Eliam sat alone, looking up at the sky. The memories were still there. The mistakes hadn't disappeared, but for the first time in years, they didn't control him. Jesus hadn't denied his past. He simply refused to let it be the end of his story. And that changed everything. Life reflection. Many people live carrying the same weight Eliam carried. We define ourselves by moments we regret. We replay our failures and convince ourselves that we've gone too far, made too many mistakes, or missed our chance to change. The world is quick to label us, and once a label sticks, it's hard to shake. But Jesus doesn't see people the way the world does. He doesn't ignore wrongdoing, but he also doesn't abandon people because of it. Where others see damage, he sees potential. Where others see a closed door, he sees a path forward. Grace doesn't mean pretending the past never happened. It means believing the past doesn't get the final word. Jesus meets people exactly where they are, but he never leaves them there. Closing prayer. Jesus, when we feel trapped by our past and judged by our mistakes, remind us that you see us differently. Give us the courage to change, the strength to move forward, and the faith to believe that our story is still being written.